Okay, I think we're good. Finally. Well, top of the 12:55 in the morning to you, everyone. Welcome to... It is 2025. It is nearly 1 in the morning, and I feel like playing some Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. By the way, very important, you have to say the full title so the people know which one you're talking about. Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS, or Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. Get it straight. Now, actually, the Wii U 13th anniversary was, I guess, technically 2 days ago now. Well, I am getting ounce of lag. Give me a second. Also, I have no idea if this is actually working, if you can hear me. It looks like it's working. But okay, let's one thing at a time here. Is that gonna help? I should probably just restart the stupid thing. Had a lot going on there for a second. Yeah, feels better. And let's see, I'm not seeing anything in the chat. Oh. Hello. I wonder how many people are here. Yeah, me too. Okay, good. So it is going. That's what I was going to go check on. Yeah, I don't remember why I don't have the DLC characters right now. Oh, it's not up for you guys at all, is it? There we go. Now, as I was saying, the Wii U just had its anniversary 2 days ago. The Wii's 19th anniversary was yesterday, now, technically, depending on where you are, I suppose. And so, I don't know, I hadn't really, turned... It's been just a few minutes, and just in the time it took me to set all this up, the battery on the gamepad is already dying. But I came prepared. But yeah, I haven't played this in a really, really long time. And I remember there being some really cool, unique things about, like, Classic Mode in Smash 4, and I don't quite remember what they are. I know there's some sort of a final boss, and I think you gotta get over, like, a certain threshold to even fight him at all, so let's try extra spicy. Yeah, I hope chat's working well, because it seems like there was a little, like, burst of activity. That feeling when the gamepad is already almost dead. Yeah, you know, when I did the Wii U video, I got, like, a third-party battery replacement for it on Amazon. And, you know, I've barely used it at all over the past year, and apparently that's already kaput. So, important tip for playing Classic Mode on Smash 4 for Wii U, which is definitely something that lots of people are going to be doing. You always want to go for the rival battle first, because that's, like, one of your toughest opponents, and it's only going to get harder, like, the longer you don't do it. It's Smugly. It's just funny how this Smash 4 is more so, I would say, than any other Smash game, largely superannuated by its sequel. And, like, I feel like Smash Brothers has been becoming, like, less and less distinct with each subsequent entry, right? Like, Melee was extremely different from Smash 64, it was a huge upgrade, and then Brawl was very different from Melee. And then Smash 4 was still very different from Brawl, but like, especially for me as like not a competitive player, it wasn't as pronounced as like the difference from Brawl to Melee was. And then I know it's partly because of the extremely, it had the Wii U. Oh, I forgot. I forgot that Dark Samus just wasn't a fighter back then. I was like, oh, there's one more left, but no. But Smash 4 to Ultimate was a very unusually brief gap between Smash Brothers games. It's normally a lot longer than that. And of course, if had the Wii U lasted longer and been more of a success, that wouldn't have happened. So I imagine that's why they're still pretty similar, but it's just like, as a result of that. Yeah, really, I'm worried that the chat's not updating for me. Somebody say something, like, as soon as you hear this, if you don't mind. Could be a little bit of a delay, but not that much of one. It is like quite different feeling. It's like Ultimate came out in like 2018, and since then I've barely played this version at all. Testing. Okay, things seem cool. Is Slurpuff, I think? Right? I do feel like Sonic was at his, like, probably most viable in Smash 4, though, so I like it for that. His final Smash didn't suck, that was nice. Well, the 3DS version has Smash Run, so that helps his case. Go with 2 blue guys. Oh, like 3 blue guys. There we go. But it does still have some pretty cool elements of its own, like the whole special move, like, customization system. That was carried over to Ultimate. Yeah, I was talking about Sonic's Final Smash being good in this one, and that's one of those things where it's like the competitive scene does not give a shit about that. They're going to turn Final Smashes off anyway, so only weirdos like me care about that. But the thing is, in Brawl, did we get that? Yeah, we got that. In Brawl, Sonic's Final Smash was like one of the absolute most broken ones in the game, as long as you didn't control it. Like, it was really, really, really strong. Typically, if I got it, then like everybody was going to die, and possibly twice if I was fast enough. In this game, it was pretty well balanced. The Final Smash, he turned into Supersonic, fly around. It's powerful, but not as powerful as it was before. It's pretty good. And then in Ultimate, Supersonic is by far the worst Final Smash in the game, and it's not even a contest. It is so junk. And that's, as a Sonic player, as a casual Smash Sonic player, that really, really, like, stymied me, because I've always felt like Sonic is really good at racking up damage, but it's very difficult to, like, seal the deal with him, right? So the Final Smash was a really, really useful tool in, like, being able to actually, like, get kills. And yeah, in Smash Ultimate, it is just junk. Like, people have to be at really, really, really high damage for me to even get them once. And it's also just relatively a little easier to dodge. I wish they'd done, like, Pikachu's Final Smash in Ultimate is, like, more what I wish they would have done with Supersonic. Like a very similar concept, but just much, much, much more useful. But, I mean, that's the kind of thing, like I said, competitive Smash players are not going to see it the same way in any way, shape, or form, so it's probably not a big deal. Just for the way me and my friends play. Oh, I missed the DKC Returns level to local SU fan. Local SU, I'm gonna assume that means Sonic Underground. The other thing I miss about Smash 4 compared to Ultimate is just the ability to, like, run through opponents. In Smash 4, or in Smash Ultimate rather, they made it so if you run into somebody, you start pushing them. Like, you can't cross over each other. Which, again, like, as a Sonic player, that really, really, really affects me. Because, you know, being able to, like, do this, basically, and, like, put Sonic speed to use is a big part of his kit. But I still get comments on my old Smash Brothers videos occasionally that are like, oh boy, that thing. Nightmare. From people who are very, very, very good at competitive Smash, who were like, are kind of mad at me for talking about Smash Brothers the way I did. I don't know. It's a tough thread to, it's a tough needle to thread, rather. But I know I'm playing really, really crap right now. I'm gonna say that's partly because there's a little bit of... Oh, you know what? I was gonna say there's a little bit of a delay, but I can look down at the gamepad and get around that. No other console can do that. There was a conversation in my Discord the other day where people were talking about... like, what's a game that you feel like personifies you really well? Right? Like, what comes to mind for you? Oh, am I gonna get Supersonic here? No. Almost. Yes, for just a second. And so that was a pretty interesting discussion. And then I sort of changed the topic to what console, besides the Dreamcast, because that would be too obvious, what console do you think most personifies me? And I didn't even think about it, but instantly everybody was like, oh, the Wii U. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, thanks. But you're right. I see why you guys say that. You can see all my Miis. Some of these literally go back to, well, in the case of Lennon's Mii, I guess that would be 2006. That's the one that just blasted me there. As he would have made that Mii, like, the day the Wii came out, November 19th, 2006. Because he got his, like, 8 months before I got mine. They were so hard to find. The Smash 4, I mean, I don't really know if it's hard to go back to or not, because I just started playing it for the first time in a long time. Sonic to the letter, a big damage potential, no finishing power. Exactly. Cup of tea, I'm sorry that I always start streaming so late. It's just like, I typically do it after Alicia goes to bed. So, it's just kind of how it goes. Oh, you actually watched Sonic Underground when you were a kid? Man, there aren't many people like that. I was aware that Sonic Underground was coming out when I was a kid, but I think I just didn't have the ability to wake up early enough to see it. I don't really know. I don't remember when it came on. Oh, SU stands for Steven Universe. That's cool. People probably still play this game online. Yoshinator says, damn dude, you got buff. Yeah, thank you. I've, it hasn't been easy. I need to stop looking at the chat while I'm trying to fight these guys. This is actually what I was talking about at the start of the stream. Like, there's a special boss here if you're at a high enough difficulty level. And I only vaguely remember, like, what he does or how he works. Although I'm getting my ass kicked so hard right now that we might not get to see it. Because I remember I had to try really hard. Okay, I think this should be it. Yeah. Do I get... Oh yeah, that. Okay. Okay, I might not have been... I think there's multiple phases to this. God, I did this so many times back in the day. Ooh, the other thing I don't like about Smash Ultimate compared to this is how they changed how the perfect block works. Because in previous Smash games, you would perfect block if you hit the shield button right as the attack hit. And in Ultimate, they made it so you'd perfect block when you let go of it, just as the attack hits. I've never been able to get used to that. Like, it's probably better in most ways, but, like, the muscle memory. Not that I was ever that good at it in the first place, it's just I feel like I always screw that timing up. Speaking of timing. Still got a little of that. Like, I really, really like Ultimate's Classic mode, especially the way that, like, every character has their own, like, variation. I do feel like way too many of them end with a Master Hand fight, though. It'd be kind of cool if you could have, like, more variation. Or maybe, like, once you beat them all, you could, like, challenge any of them as any character. Oh, it's Shadow Me. Yeah, this is where I'd usually lose a stock. Oh. Homing attack is a lot better in, Ultimate, though, that's for sure. That wasn't good. I think I should do the maze thing after this, assuming I don't die. Or I might not be at a high enough difficulty level. I really can't remember. Wow, guys, Shadows and Smash. No, that'll be it. Also, it's kind of funny how you have to, like, destroy this thing. Ooh! Another thing, in Ultimate, you can, like, hold a fully charged Smash attack for a while. That's really cool. Yeah, okay. There's a few things I like about this better, but all in all, I think I'm coming to prefer Ultimate.
Final results.
Ooh, yep, Twilight Princess turned 19, Smosh turned 20. That's nuts. Levy Church says, I saw Sonic Underground as a kid through DVD. That's cool. Alright, maybe... Yeah, I think I've obviously, I lost my Smash 4 save file at some point. And these are the only characters I finished Classic mode with. Maybe I need to go to, like, 9.0 or above. I'll give that a shot. Rico Lee says, hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Hard to believe it's the Wii U's 13th anniversary already. I'm really glad I got a Wii U because I loved a lot of its games so much and still do today. Yeah, it's like, the Switch really, I think, showed the power and the quality of the Wii U library, funnily enough. It's just, they had to be on a console that people actually wanted to buy in order for them to be appreciated, which is kind of funny.
Choose your fighter.
Alright, ooh, I think in Ultimate they changed Toon Link for the worse. So I'll go with Toon Link. Okay, Lucas there is probably the... like, my current top. So, I don't know. Let's try 9.0. I doubt I can do it very well as Toon Link, though. I'm gonna play other Wii U games, too.
Ready, go!
Win, lose, or draw, I'll do that after this.
Versus Rosalina and Luma. Ready,
Somebody asked, when's your next Sonic vid? I'm wondering on Sonic Colors DS myself, but any videos you put out have been awesome, Sonic or not. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. Sonic will... I feel like I'll probably get into it next year. I feel like that'll be a good time anyway, because it's the, gosh, the 35th anniversary. So, that'll probably be a good time for another Sonic season. I'm just massively out of practice. This is not going well. One thing that I also think made Smash 4's Classic mode in particular, like, pretty challenging was on the Wii U anyway, how many of them are, like, these big multi-man battles. Because, you know, it makes sense. Like, this is the game that introduced, like, 8-player Smash, so they're going to want to show that off. Moltres was always such a weird Pokemon, by the way. Not in general, but I mean in Smash Brothers, because, like, the others did something. Moltres just appears and then flies off screen, and does lots of damage if you can get them to hit it, but still. Yeah, I remember now. I always liked Link's, you know, boom, boom, like it's a double forward smash, and Toon Link lost that in Ultimate. Which was sad, because, you know, Toon Link was always my favorite Link to play in Smash Brothers. That's funny. I'm gonna play Twilight Princess one of these days, maybe. Twilight Princess was... Okay, so like I said, I got a Wii about 8 months after the Wii came out. In the meantime, I did rent Twilight Princess on the GameCube, and I really, really, really got into it. Like, unusually got into it. I think it had, you know, the new game hype. Like, there was so much hype around it. There was so much excitement about it, and I really enjoyed it. And then, you know, I took my rental back. I think I got it... I remember how far I got. I got to the end of the section where you... I vaguely remember this. This will make sense to people who remember it better, I guess. But, like, you have to, like, catch these bugs in the Dark World or something, and I got through the last one of those. And I think that's when you get the ability to actually switch from the wolf form, like, switch between them at will. So, you know, that's a good couple of hours into the game, I know that. And, so then I, you know, took the rental back, got my Wii, and got Twilight Princess on the Wii, and I could just never make myself do all that shit again. Like, I could never get into it like that again. I should have just gotten it on the GameCube, but... oh well. Still, it's been long enough now that maybe if I got in the right frame of mind, I could do it again. Because, like I said, really, really liked what I played there for a while. I'm also in Wind Waker HD on this very console. I'm at the... like, all I have to do is walk through a door and fight the final boss. And it's been like that for like 3 years now. And I kind of don't want to because, you know, I played Wind Waker for the first time in like the year it came out, 2003. And I think it's kind of funny that it's taken me this long to finally getting around to finishing it. Despite, at one time, because Teen Me especially had to be a massive contrarian about everything, I would claim that it was my favorite Zelda game. And I guess it was for a while. Then I played Majora's Mask, and then that was my favorite Zelda game. That wasn't good. And then Breath of the Wild came out, and I don't think anything can really come close to that. Somebody said, "Hi, geek." Which, I know, like, people call me that sometimes. It always feels a little bit like, my brain is like, why are they insulting? Oh, yeah, that's right. Ooh, you think Deltarune's the game that represents you the best? That's a good answer. A lot of people are talking about, you know, Games of the Year nominations. Myself included. I've had some talk about it on Blue Sky. I keep forgetting about Deltarune. And, you know, that's not so bad because it's like the game's not finished yet, should it even count. But, yeah, I mean, on even if it's like a quote-unquote episodic model, I think it'd be perfectly valid to count Deltarune for, you know, like whatever chapters came out that year. And Deltarune would probably be my number 2 game of the year. Because, number 1, nothing is beating Donkey Kong Bonanza. I thought I was going to get that bullet bill.
Continue.
Now somebody says not even Tears of the Kingdom. No, I didn't like Tears of the Kingdom as much. I got a little more into it when the Switch 2 came out, just because, I mean, you know, now it's, you know, 60 FPS, it's a lot nicer that way. Like, I see the appeal, it's just, I've never been into building things in games, and that's a big part of where Tears, like, I know you don't always have to do it, but that's a big part of the gameplay in Tears of the Kingdom. Like, to put it in Wii U context, I love Super Mario Maker, but I almost never actually made levels in Super Mario Maker. Because that's just not typically something that's very enjoyable for me to do in games. Similar deal when I was into Minecraft. Like, when me and my friends were all into Minecraft, like, Kalen would build shit, right? Kalen would, like, design our bases and set things up. I just liked playing it. Anything I tried to build was, like, a box, basically. I wasn't very good at form. That I'll be surprised if Bonanza wins Game of the Year. That it's there at all is surprising. Oh yeah, no, it's going to be, what's it called, that Expedition 33 game? I haven't played that, but that's the one that's going to win Game of the Year this year. But I wasn't talking about, like, Jeff Keighley. Jeff can do what he wants. I mean me. My Game of the Year is Donkey Kong Bonanza. Yeah, some people, you know, say, J-Rock, I haven't beaten Breath of the Wild, let alone Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm a big Zelda fan. Yeah, no, I feel for you guys. I mean, I can relate to a certain extent because that's... So you know, when Breath of the Wild came out, I absolutely loved it. I really got into it. Like, I never had any Zelda game before. I beat it twice in, like, the first month. Like, I absolutely... Like, it hit me the way no Zelda game ever had. With the possible exception of the NES game. But I made a video about that back then. Oh, man. That was a bad idea. I was like, maybe I can get away from it. I shouldn't have done that. But anyway, yeah, Breath of the Wild. I had some friends who were much bigger Zelda fans than I was. And that CPU is good. I had some friends who were much bigger Zelda fans than I was, and some of them, like some Zelda fans, like existing big Zelda fans, loved Tears of the King or loved Breath of the Wild and got really into it and thought it was great. And then some of them were like, well, I mean, I see the appeal in this, but this is like removing so much of what's always appealed to me about Zelda games. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see that. I get that. And then Sonic Frontiers came out, and now I'm kind of in that same position. I was like, oh, see now, before I could merely empathize. Now I can relate. As I get my ass kicked by Lucina.
Continue.
Somebody said I loved Minecraft creative mode as a kid. Oh yeah, Minecraft was really funny because me and my friends got into it in like 2010. The Team Fortress, we were big into Team Fortress 2, and the official blog said that like they were really into it, and that's kind of the first time I remember hearing about it. And so then me and my friends got really, really, really into it. And we played very regularly for a good, like, 2 years. And I mean, there was no, like, you know, you'd never played anything else like it. That was bad. But, you know, I mean, over time, we kind of, you know, it ran its course, and we stopped playing it so much. And then, like, years later, like, I want to say, like, 2 or 3 years later, it came out on consoles. And suddenly, like, you know, you'd go to the store and you'd see, like, Minecraft toys in the toy section. And it was really weird for me, because it was this thing that, from my perspective, was this thing, like, this niche indie game that was, like, the biggest niche indie game. But it was primarily played by, you know, like, PC gaming dorks. Like us, and then years after we got it out of our system, it becomes like the hottest thing for kids, and it was very weird. And you know, you see people sometimes, or you used to rather, probably not by this point. Is this getting easier, or am I just going to keep getting my ass kicked? It's getting easier. Okay, this isn't going great, but that's okay. But yeah, you used to see people who were, I don't know, like probably teenagers, looking back on their childhood and being like, oh god, I used to be into Minecraft, that was so cringe. And I'm like, we played Minecraft when we were, like, before hardly anybody knew what it was. Like, I still don't think of Minecraft as being, like, a kid's thing, even though it definitely is. And you know, there's been, like, Minecraft has had a few generations of fandom at this point too. Like when they announced the movie, and a bunch of people were like, "Oh, this isn't really Minecraft. This looks terrible. This is going to do poorly." Like, not realizing that the kids younger than them are, no, they're still into it. I do wish, like, the one difference between what I was talking about a second ago with, like, Sonic, you know, Sonic Frontiers versus, like, Breath of the Wild, like, at least with I'm not saying I hate Sonic Frontiers even, it's just, it's not doing a lot of the things that I really love about Sonic games. It's kind of, like, de-emphasizing that and focusing on other things instead. But, like, at least there's lots of other Sonic games coming out, right? I feel kind of bad for Zelda fans because Zelda doesn't seem to get quite the same amount of, you know, spin-offs or, like, smaller games or things to fill in the gaps. They did have that game starring Zelda, which I guess helps. But, you know, what was it called? The 3DS game, Link Between Worlds, that was so well received. People really, really seem to love that one. And I feel like having games like that to kind of fill in the gaps between major releases, if they're going to keep going with, like, the Breath of the Wild style games, I feel like that would help. Minecraft had a resurgence in popularity in, like, 2019. Yeah, it's had a few. I'm going to be honest, I don't remember... Are you going to make me do it? Okay. I don't quite remember what Toon Link was like in Project M. It's been a very long time since I played that.
Ready, go!
So thrown off by Minecraft getting a Telltale game. Yeah, that was wild. Oh, Callum, buddy. Levi Church says, what's your favorite racing game? So, okay. I'll give you two categories. In the kart racing category, it's Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed. In the arcade racing category, it's Daytona USA. I only got into Daytona USA just a couple of years ago, but like when it hit, it hit. And sorry, it took me a second to answer. I like how I've already spent like much more time in the stream playing as Toon Link than I did Sonic, just because I'm so much worse at him. This has taken me a lot longer. And also, I feel like this is just going much more chaotically. No, not Sonic R. Sonic R is not a guilty pleasure, but a pleasure. A pleasure with a little side of guilt, maybe.
Ready, go!
Somebody say it's bizarre how spread out Zelda releases are now. I mean, it's bizarre how spread out most releases are. Like, that's... I was thinking about this with regards to Sonic the other day. It is... it feels like a miracle what Sega's doing lately, where we're actually getting semi-yearly, I mean yearly for the most part, high-quality releases in like a franchise, because nothing else seems to operate like that anymore. I mean, like, you know, a really easy example of this, since it's coming out 1 year from yesterday, I think it is Grand Theft Auto 6, right? I don't care at all for Grand Theft Auto, but like, I remember when those games came out pretty dang frequently. Like, the GTA 1 came out in 97, 2 was 99, I think, 3 was 01. Then you had Vice City was literally the very next year. San Andreas was 04, so 2 years later. And then they did the PSP spin-offs, they did, and then you got to Grand Theft Auto 4 in 2008. I have a very chronological memory, by the way. I say I don't care about the series, but I know when the games came out. Can't believe I survived that. But yeah, after Grand Theft Auto 4, 5 didn't come out until 2013. And of course, with, you know, gonna be 13 years between 5 and 6. So I think the industry has changed a lot. I think companies are very risk averse. I think the scale has changed in that, you know, I watched, I listened to an interesting interview that a YouTuber named Mystic did with the president of the company, whose job it is to bring old games to modern platforms via emulation. And he talked a lot about this. About how, like, a lot of CEOs, or a lot of, like, publishers, rather, will, you know, like, maybe you can sell, like, 100,000 units at $6, but, like, that's just not the scale that they need. And there's not a lot of old games that will bring in the kind of numbers that they need, that they're looking for at this point. What are we gonna get? Oh yeah, this guy. But I think it's unfortunate. I think it's especially unfortunate, but it's sort of a consequence of the mobile market sort of eating into so much of the casual market, which has killed, like, the B-tier game, or the AA game, or however you want to say it. Like, the big thing you notice there is that we don't get, like, movie tie-ins anymore. We don't get, you don't see nearly as many, like, mid-budget releases as you used to. So, especially a company, you know, like the developers of Grand Theft Auto, like, it's basically all or nothing. Like, they need to make one of the biggest entertainment events of the year, or they're just like from the publisher's perspective, they seem to be wasting their time. So yeah, again, I have my problems with what's happening with with Sonic lately. I feel like it's not entirely for me, but they are doing a very good job of just coming out with very well polished releases on a regular basis, which, like I said, feels like a magic trick in the industry nowadays. Silk Song and Prime 4 before GTA 6, yeah, exactly. Okay, gotta be a difficult... Thank you for telling me that. Difficulty 8.0 or higher for the Master Core fight. I definitely didn't make that. I like how there's this thing called Master Shadow, maybe? I like how it gets smaller as you knock more of its particles away. Kicking my ass, though. Let's see. Catch up with chat a little bit. Perfect System DX says, have you tried Ring Racers? I played it quite a bit when it first came out. That's been a while back now. I heard a new version just came out that refines and changes a lot of things. That might make a good stream game, by the way. I might do that sometime. GTA 6 coming out is indeed going to be an event, that's true.
Final results.
Oh my god. Cup of Tea says, if we're talking about games with spread out releases, the time between now and the release of the trailer for Elder Scrolls 6 is longer than the time between the trailer and Skyrim's release. That is ridiculous. I mean, kind of the same deal with Metroid Prime 4, you know? We need more small games like Mega Man 9 and 10, or even 11. I mean, 11 had a bigger budget than 9 and 10, I'm sure, but... Yeah, like, I love Capcom, but aside from 4, I've never been into Resident Evil. So, every time Capcom announces, or Monster Hunter for that matter, so the only thing that they really focus on much that I'm into at all is Street Fighter, and even that's just kind of into it. So every time Capcom announces anything, I'm like, oh, why couldn't it be Mega Man, though? Why couldn't it be, like, Beautiful Joe? Half-Life 3 might actually be around the corner this time. It feels way more possible than it ever has before. I mean, I'm not getting my hopes up about it, but if it's gonna like, on a long enough time scale, it's gonna happen eventually. And it could be now. Alright. The battery indicator light is just flashing repeatedly. I don't think it's even charging anymore. I think that battery might have already gone kaput. I never got into Okami. I remember people freaking loving it. We were talking earlier about Twilight Princess. Uh, you could sort of show your gamer cred on the internet when it came out by saying, "Guys, I think Okami might be better than Zelda," and that was like a really cool thing to say. Zega says, I was hoping Ultimate would give us an evolution of the Master Core, but the bad-tempered embodiments of light and darkness were neat too, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit of a trade-off, because you can have... Yeah, I agree, the Master Core fight at level 8 or above, which I tried and failed to get to repeatedly, that was really, really cool. But I also like Ultimate's approach of giving you a variety of final bosses and a variety of classic modes. Like I said earlier, my main problem there is that too many of the classic modes just end with the standard, like, Master Crazy hand fight. Zega says, Sonic Mania was on the Wii U. Well, not officially, but this is... What's it called? Aroma? Pretendo? Yeah, some combination of mods that, like, re-enables the Wii U's online functionality. But no, Sonic Mania was not legitimately on the Wii U. Also, that's probably... Let's see, I gotta put it down here. Yeah, that's just the Sonic the Hedgehog Miiverse community. I don't think that's actually representing the game. Can't believe Wii U has no Sonic Din port. Who hates Sticker Star? I mean, I don't hate it, but I wasn't invested enough to hate it. Anyway, let's see. Should probably play... Let's see if this works. Let's see if there are people playing this. CG Spirit Ensemble? Spirited Ensemble. That's it. Says the Wii U menu is a complete vibe. I'm already nostalgic for it. Crazy. I mean, I am too, but you say already, but it has been 13 years. Yeah, I mean, Miiverse was cool. It was really cool, like, turning the system on and, like, seeing all the Miis come up and seeing the little messages and everything. And I liked the way it was integrated into games, but I never actually posted on there very much, just because I can't draw for shit, and, you know, writing things on the gamepad was a chore. Someday they're going to make a Splatoon game that lets you skip this. And it'll be called Splatoon 3. The... lobby. Yeah, I played... This is probably still the Splatoon game that I played the most. Not on this save file, obviously, but... It was... Like, I've always... I like Splatoon a whole lot. I love the aesthetic. But I feel like I'm not enough into it that each subsequent game felt different enough from the last. And with each one, the magic hit a little less hard. Okay, I remember what happens when I do this before. So this does work, right? Like, hypothetically, if we wait long enough, a game will fill up and begin. The problem is, you know, this is, like I said, this is like a mod that restores the Switch, the Wii U's online functionality. And while there are people here who play, especially at this time of night, there probably aren't going to be enough. So, I doubt this is going to work anytime soon. Splatoon still feels so young to me. What do you mean it's 10 years old? It's only like 4. buddy, that's just gonna keep happening. I mean, to a certain extent, to me, like, when I think of, like, the new Mario characters, like, Rosalina is still included in that. Like, she still feels pretty recent, depending on how I, like, think about it. Like, because I can say, okay, 2007, and I can think about who I was and where I was and what I was doing in 2007, and then I'm like, okay, no, that was a long, long time ago. But if I just sort of approach it, like, from the perspective of the Mario series, we're getting a few more people. Ooh, Japanese. Okay, so I've been trying to learn Japanese, and that's gonna take years and years and years, and I've been at it for about 5 weeks. But okay, that's A-N Ku-A-Kuru. I have no idea what that means, but I can read the characters. Post about queuing up for Splatoon on Blue Sky. I doubt that's gonna work. Like, maybe one person would have this already set up and be able to go do it. But I'll give it just a little while longer. I'm having a good time talking to you guys right now. Maybe I should change the category to just chatting. Oh wait, I'm not on Twitch, am I? Let's see. Rico Lee says, I still think if this and Mario Maker had been the big two launch games instead of Mario U and Nintendo Land, that the Wii U and Gamepad's reception would have been so much better. Yeah, I mean, Mario Maker alone, like, Mario Maker made a pretty big splash when it came out, even though it was only on the Wii U. Like, you know, Mario Maker levels were going viral. It was a really, really cool thing. The problem was, by the time it came out, the Switch, man, I keep calling the Wii U the Switch. It's funny, when the Switch first came out, I was so used to calling Nintendo's console the Wii or the Wii U that I kept doing that too. But now it's the other way around. But yeah, by the time Mario Maker came out, the Wii U was so absolutely dead in the water that it was never gonna work. Like, even though people were into it, they weren't gonna buy the console for it because the writing was on the wall, right? But yeah, I think if just Mario Maker had come out instead of Mario U, then that could have actually made a very big difference. Because the Wii U launch, like, Nintendo fans were hyped, and nobody else was, right? It just didn't seem to make any sort of a splash whatsoever outside of the really, really hardcore Nintendo fans. And I mean, it did really well with them. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. That's okay. But yeah, it did really well with Nintendo fans. Like, it sold out repeatedly, and then Black Friday came, and then it was like, okay, well, everybody who was ever going to want one has gotten one already, pretty much. Perfect System DX says, I gotta wonder what Fortnite kids are going through when Splatoon tried to keep you away from the internet, and I still ended up in awful circles with way too young because I wanted people to play with. I mean, that's sort of... oh my god, Luigi is so hot. I mean, you do you, Athena. I think that's just kind of a near universal experience with everybody who's grown up over the past 30 years. I mean, that was true for me too. I certainly saw things and talked to people and talked about things on the internet way, way, way before I should have, but the difference then is that the internet wasn't actively trying to exploit me. So yeah, exploit me and exploit my attention, and now it's doing that to everyone. And yeah, it's not a good thing. Anyway, single-player games. There haven't really been many new Mario characters introduced since the Wii. There's Nabbit, right? Nabbit. Yeah, in terms of, like, playable characters, like the kind of people who would show up in, like, a Mario Party. Nabbit's probably been playable in a Mario Party by now. I'm not really sure. I don't know if Mario Maker would have turned the Wii U into a household name by itself, but it definitely would have given it a much better fighting chance than it had. Cappy, sure, yeah. Nabbit isn't a new character, relatively speaking, I agree, but what I was responding to was, I think, Levi Church saying not many Mario characters have been introduced since the Wii. And Nabbit, I think, was introduced in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. So, that was kind of the cutoff I was using. See, we'll just start from the beginning. There's always a little bit of a learning curve with this, because I have to build my muscle memory back up, because there's nothing else in the entire world that plays like Star Fox Zero. Nintendo, please bring back Star Fox, I'm begging you. Hey, they came out with Star Link. That's the closest thing we got to a Star Fox game in the last 9 years now. Ooh, this game's almost 10 years old, isn't that wild? Ooh, the delay on my capture software is insane. Like, it was manageable in other games, but in this game, since I'm aiming, this feels horrible. Yeah, I typically play in cockpit view on the TV, but I'm gonna have to, not do that this time. It's gonna have to, look down at the screen like you're supposed to. People say, this game should just come out on the, they used to say anyway. At this point it has such a bad reputation. Ooh, also, my aiming is continually going off to the left. Yeah, I feel like something's wrong with my gamepad, to be honest with you. Okay, I'm gonna try to fly in a straight line here. I'll put the gamepad down. And no, it's not moving. It could be my imagination. Or maybe you have to, actually move it for the gyro to go off. Anyway, I love this game, but this is clearly not going to be the appropriate environment to play it. This is the most Wii U game that has ever Wii U'd. This is also I believe, the only Platinum Games game that I've ever finished. So, it holds that distinction too. Often considered the worst one. Although, maybe people think it's better than the Legend of Korra game, I'm not sure. That's another example of the sort of B-tier game that we don't get anymore. The idea that once upon a time the Legend of Korra could get a video game, imagine. And from Platinum Games too, for that matter. People were pretty excited about that one. And then it came out and, it had the budget of a licensed game, and apparently it wasn't too great. I played it one time. I don't think you can even buy it anymore, but I played it on Steam one time. Don't remember anything about it, though. Did you ever play Star Fox 64 as a kid? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Star Fox 64 was one of my favorite N64 games. And also probably my favorite game of 1997, but don't let Heil hear me say that, because he'll be mad that I don't like Diddy Kong Racing more than it. So yeah, I love Star Fox 64. Alright, aiming's feeling better. Maybe I'm just getting used to it. That's the thing with, input delay. To a certain threshold, I can adjust, right? Different people have different sensitivities to it. Okay, yeah, this is feeling okay now. Yeah, what I was saying earlier, you know, people say, oh, why don't they port this game to the Switch? I guess it'd be the Switch 2 now, but, you know, you used to hear that a lot. They could, like, you know, remove the gamepad, remove the motion controls, make some quality of life features. And the thing is, in order to do that, they would basically be making a completely different game. Because, like, okay, like right here, what you have to do here is like look down at the cockpit view or switch the screens like I've done here, and then move the controller to like aim straight down as you're flying above these things. And then you need to look up at the screen and, you know, use the homing view to like see where more of them are. And I played this game so much that like I know how to do that. Like I know when I need to swap between my views. There's like a lot of replay value to that, but you need to replay it to the point that like that stuff becomes natural to you before you can, like, until you do that, it feels absolutely bizarre to, you know, look up at the screen and then look down at the screen in your hand and then switch between them. And like obviously they could hypothetically port this to the Switch and just make it so, you know, you just hit the minus button to switch between screens. But the game is so designed for like that dual screen experience that redesigning it to take away from that would, like I said, just really change so much about it. And even more so the motion controls. People don't like the way you have to aim by moving this around, but you know, if you try to play this game like it's Star Fox 64, you're gonna have a really, really, really bad time. And I think that's like why this game gave so many people such a bad first, second, and even third impression, because, you know, you go in and you try to play it like sequences like this, you know? Like you see it's not even, the camera isn't even acting like it does in Star Fox 64. It is completely impossible to like aim like this. You have to switch to the cockpit view, and, you know, now you can aim like this. But the stuff is meant to teach you the benefits of that. Is like, okay, so my ship is like flying this way. I can hold down the brake and lean way over here, and like aim in a direction that you'd never be able to do if you just played it like Star Fox 64. And that's like the point. So many of the most, like, this is really, really, really hard to do if you've never done it before. Like, the point of what it's teaching you is this. The problem is, this is so completely unique to Star Fox Zero and absolutely nothing else that has ever or will ever be made, that the learning curve is steep enough that, like, by the time you get good at this, you're gonna be done with, you're gonna have played the game for at least the first time, and probably more than that. And unless you're a freak who loves replaying games over and over again like me, like that is my bullshit completely. Like, you're gonna play it, you're gonna get maybe pretty good at it eventually if you stick with it, you're gonna beat it, and you're gonna move on, and you're never gonna put those skills to use ever again, because, like I said, nothing else has ever or will ever play like this. It takes a real special kind of freak to love Star Fox Zero, is what I'm saying. Switch 2's mouse mode and casting feature with game chat. Yeah, I mean, it would always be feasible. It's just like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna like release a game where to have the best possible experience, you need to have two Switch 2s. I could see a new Star Fox game using mouse mode though. Ingeen Mac? Probably not pronouncing that right. Anyway, they say, "Long time no see," which makes me, I can never hear that phrase without thinking of basically all of the 2000 Sonic games where they said it over and over and over again. And say, did you lose weight? Yeah, I've lost about 45 pounds this year. About, let's see, counting back to 2023 when I started losing weight, that's about 70 pounds. So yeah, I've lost a little bit of weight. That special kind of freak is known as a Wii U owner. I mean, you'd think so, but even a lot of Wii U owners did not like this game at all.
Good luck.
Dylan Yoshi says, Josh, have you played Sin and Punishment Star Successor on Wii? Feels like what a Star Fox game would have played it like on that console. I've heard that before. Yeah, I've seen more than one video, I want to say, talking about how bizarre it is that the Wii would have been such a perfect system for a Star Fox game, and it never got one. It kind of reminds me of like how the 3DS inexplicably never got Virtual Boy games, but the Switch 2 is. I did play Sin and Punishment on the N64, or more specifically on the Wii Virtual Console, though. But that was a long, long time ago. I don't remember much about it. That was a long, long time ago, back when Rosalina was first introduced. I wonder why that game never came out in the US until the Virtual Console. Especially considering, like, the Japanese N64 market was, was not a very healthy one. That system did a lot better in the West. Ooh, one thing I remember lots of, like, content makers and YouTubers and whatnot being very annoyed with about this game. Like, you see Fox, eyes up top, you see my teammates talking, but you can't hear them. That's because their dialogue only comes through the Wii U gamepad, so see how this sounds to you guys. Probably going to be some echoing, I'll turn it off here in a second, but people were like doing pass-throughs to... And now you can hear them, maybe. Does that sound terrible? Or should I keep it on? Has anyone started working on a Wii U version of new Pokemon Snap yet? Yeah, good luck on that one. Yeah, I don't want to follow you. I talked about this in the Wii U video that I did last year. But I'm always going to kind of miss, I'm going to turn this off because I feel like it's talking over me. I'm always kind of going to miss that period, like, from, like, the Wii U and the Wii period, where Nintendo, and the DS for that matter, where Nintendo's hardware was just doing some really, really weird shit. I'm really enjoying my Switch 2. I think it's exactly what it needed to be. But, like, mouse mode is a cool gimmick, but it's not the kind of thing that, you know, Iwata-era Nintendo would have given us. For better or for worse. This probably isn't obvious to to you guys, but I'll go into third-person view because, yeah, you're playing as the Walker now. The Walker's controls are freaking weird, though. Like, you'd think they just give it standard first-person shooter controls, but no, you move and turn. Basically, I mean, it kind of has like Metroid Prime on the GameCube style controls to a certain extent. Because you move and turn, you know, those old school, like, pre-Halo first-person shooter. Of course, you're aiming with the gyro. and then you still do your usual, like, boosts and stuff like that with the right stick. I do not think it works as well as the R-Wing. That SNES Star Fox Easter egg where if you shoot a bird, you go on an acid trip. I mean, I think it was more than an Easter egg, wasn't it? That was like a warp. I haven't played Star Fox on the Super Nintendo in quite a while now, though. One cool thing about this game is that you could scan the Fox or Falco amiibo and then, like, unlock the old polygonal SNES style R-Wing. Which was neat, but it was like a difficulty, a much harder way to play. Gameplay-wise, Nintendo's doing some cool stuff. Business and hardware-wise, they're definitely pretty different, and that's not always a good thing. I mean, yeah, I mean, you look at it like... Oh, can we talk about Mario Kart World? Actually, okay. So, when that game came out, everybody was very... Not everybody. It really wasn't everybody. It was some particularly loud, angry people who were making a very big stink about it being $80. And, you know... Functionally, almost everybody who got Mario Kart World, at least at launch, didn't pay $80 for it. They paid $50 for it. Nonetheless, yeah, like that's the volume was a little much sometimes, but the complaint was valid. But the sort of semi-defense that I kept giving for that was okay. But I think it's okay, assuming we're getting free DLC. And at that time, the big evidence I had for that was, you know, Donkey Kong and Pauline unusually only have one costume apiece. So I'm like, well, that probably means when Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out sometime around then, they're going to do, like, Mario Kart World DLC. They're going to add more costumes, they're going to add more characters. In the long run, they might add more courses. And, like, so I think, even if it's not necessarily worth $80 right now, in time it will be. And in any case, like I said, because of the bundle that was going on at the time, people paid $50 for it. You know, people bought the Switch 2, and then Mario Kart World came with it. And I don't like Mario Kart World as much as 8, but I still really, really like it. Still had a really good time with it. But, you know, we're going on 6 months past release now, and it's still the same game that it was. And, I mean, me saying this is almost certainly going to, like, trigger an announcement. That's how this stuff usually goes. But... And the bundle's not happening now. I think they've started bundling a different game in with new Switch 2s. So now we're in the point where it is still the same game, and it really is $80. And yeah, okay, this as long as it stays like this, that's a really hard sell. Oh god, if they did... Okay, look, if they do Mario Kart World paid DLC... yeah, then even I will have an unabashed problem with it. One Man, One Stylist says, I want my money's worth the second I hand over my money, not somewhere down the line. And yeah, that's perfectly fair. That's perfectly valid. It's just, for me, it was very easy to justify feeling like I was getting my money's worth because, okay, I mean, especially because, like I said, I functionally paid $50 for it. But if I was doing it now, if I had to buy it now, if it hadn't come with the system, and it came out now, and it was this, and yeah, much tougher sell. Let's see, what should I play? Oh, yeah, that works. Speaking of kart racing games.
Sega.
Perfect System says, I just wish the Switch 2 had like support for USB mice instead of only supporting Joy-Con. I thought it did, but maybe that was only with certain games, and maybe I could totally be misremembering. The reason Mario Kart hasn't gotten changes is because Kirby Air Riders is a big Switch 2 racing game. You know, you might be joking, but you might actually be kind of right. You know, it could be the case that with another racing game coming out literally today, isn't that out today? Yeah, it's out today. They just don't want to take the focus off of that right now. That could totally be it.
Choose your difficulty, A class.
Oh god, I barely have anybody unlocked here. Like I said, I lost most, if not all, of my Wii U saves because I had like an external hard drive that they were all on, and that got corrupted. So that kind of sucks.
Sonic.
Oh, good night, CG Spirited Ensemble. Thanks for watching. Ooh, yeah, okay, so I started talking about Mario Kart World. The entire point of me doing that was what we were talking about, the Iwata era and how different Nintendo was back then. And it's not just Iwata. It's, I mean, that's a really clean way to like sum it up. But the bigger thing is just that like video game companies and console manufacturers in particular are always much more customer friendly when they're on the back foot, when their console is doing very poorly. And I thought about that because when Mario Kart 8 came out, for the Wii U that is, Nintendo ran a promotion where you could, like if you bought Mario Kart 8 and you registered it, that they would give you another first-party game for free. So they basically gave you a 2-for-1 deal. And, you know, this was like Pikmin 3, Wind Waker HD, like it was a big game, because I mean, obviously they needed to do everything they could to like sell more systems, sell more games, sell more units, build a bigger install base, and that was part of that. And you know, there's tons of instances of this throughout history. It's, you know, the difference between, say, similar thing with the Saturn, really. For Christmas '96, they sold a bundle with 3 of their biggest games in it for like the standard price of the console, which I think was $200 at that time. So yeah, $200 got you a Saturn and Virtua Fighter, Daytona, and Panzer Dragoon, maybe? I can't remember which one. But yeah, just very common for struggling console manufacturers to do things like that. Although, not really something we're seeing with Xbox right now. They're Microsoft, they can afford it. We'll say in traditional times that was the case, but we are definitely well past traditional times with regards to that. But yeah, you look at the difference between that.
Congratulations, first
you know,
place.
Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, you get a free game with it. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch is still full price and you do not get a free game with it. And then Mario Kart World, now it's $80.
Stickers unlocked.
Nintendo is going to be much friendlier when their business is struggling, basically. One Man, One Stylist says, what time is it for you? It is 2:15 in the morning. Do I need to turn up my mic? Turn up the mic would be better than turning down the game. The stream in general is quiet. Okay. I can turn up the mic a little. Is that better? It's so weird how there's a subset of people hating on Switch 2 so much. Now I think I get how Sonic fans felt in the 2000s. It's so bizarre. Nintendo's always had detractors, but not like this.
Get ready.
I mean, a lot of things. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
So I want to preface this by saying criticizing things is not at all invalid, right? I think sometimes when you start talking about this, people will say like, well, what, so we're just supposed to take it? And, you know, that's a bad fake argument in itself. But no, I mean, I'm not saying don't criticize things for their problems, don't criticize things if you don't like them. Like, you know, just... I think the amount of it and the emotional impact behind it, though, a lot of that is just sort of the result of the attention economy and the outrage economies that we're in right now. Because, you know, like, let me give you an example. So I'm not completely thrilled with the current direction of the Sonic brand, right? I'm not saying I hate everything about it, but I'm not completely completely on board with some of the things they're doing lately. But, you know, I'm happy that it's doing so well. It's clearly like a lot healthier than it was before, and there's a very big part of me that like just doesn't want to yuck anybody's yum, because a lot, you know, for a lot of people where it is right now, this is the first time in like their entire lives that Sonic's been doing well at all, which is crazy to think about. So it's like, okay, well, you know, I'll probably get some more of the kind of Sonic stuff that I like somewhere, and sometimes I do, so it's fine. It's all good. But if all I cared about was like making a bunch of money, then I could really lean into that, right? I could like pivot my entire content strategy into basically just bitching about Sonic all the time, and the thing is, I'd be rewarded for it. That's, as a YouTuber and as somebody who, like, you know, makes a living on the internet, that's frustrating, right? Like, it doesn't feel good to know that hypothetically it would be that easy and I would know it, and I know exactly how to do it. And I never would. Like, I would not enjoy doing that, and I wouldn't feel good about doing that. But there's a lot of people who would. And I think, like, I don't even think it's always on purpose. Like, I have YouTuber friends who I'm not gonna name them here, but like I've seen them struggle with this, and we've talked about this. How like difficult it is. Like, even if you want to be positive, the thing is, like, negativity and complaining about things, or like really not just complaining about things. It's a little bit more nuanced than that, because it's like leaning into the divisiveness of things and like focusing on controversies is going to bring you so much more attention than trying to take anything resembling a more nuanced approach. So, like, you know, you might, like, maybe something happens, maybe the game comes out and it's really disappointing, maybe there's some news that comes out and you really don't like it, and so you make a video about that, and the algorithm rewards you, and the attention rewards you, and the monetary rewards are so much that, like, without even meaning to, like, it's reinforced that you're going to keep acting like that, and you're going to keep seeing that, and you're going to keep doing that. And it's like, it becomes sort of a... And, I mean, you know, people got kids to feed, people got mouths to feed. Like, I don't fault them for it, especially in cases like that. But I think it's very insidious how, as a content creator, you have to stay mindful to not lean into that, and to not take advantage of that, and to not let the algorithm train you on that sort of divisiveness, because, man, it works. It works way too well in this era of the internet, and I do not like it. But yeah, bit of a rant there. I feel like this is a good game to play while I'm talking about other things, though. Game audio is kind of loud. Okay, we'll turn that down. That ought to be better. Criticism is important. Nintendo has problems. Every company does. I have a problem with people who are being disingenuous and rude about expressing that. And yeah, like, dude, for the people who are really intentionally leaning into it, and, you know, the thing about that is, like, they'll train their audience to do the same thing, right? And the audience will seek them out for that. And, you know, it's just... It's weird for me, and it's a little bit hard to understand. Like, I love video games. Like, this is my livelihood. This is This is my favorite hobby. This is the thing that I'm most into. And I just can't imagine putting that much time and effort into being that angry about it. Like, but, you know, I mean, negative experiences are dense, and it's very easy to get addicted to it, and and there's a lot of companies with a lot of incentive to get people addicted to it, so, I mean, it's not surprising. It's just sad. But anyway, not saying that, like, the criticism for Switch 2 is invalid, not saying that the criticism for modern Nintendo is invalid. Like, criticism is good. Criticism, you know, ideally would keep these companies honest and keep things on track and, you know, hold them accountable or whatever, but I think a lot of, like, how overblown it gets is sort of a dual result of the way that modern attention algorithms like incentivize people acting like this, and just the way so many creators will make their livelihoods from getting and from participating in that, basically. Like, I feel like it's harder than it used to be to find chill YouTubers. Which is weird, because it's not like YouTube was ever chill in the first place. I mean, it's not like we haven't been through eras before. But I guess it always felt a little bit more fun before. Like, I mean, of course, the Angry Video Game Nerd is a really obvious example, because that guy never made any bones about the fact that he was playing a character. But it's just like, used to, when somebody would take the piss out of a shitty game, they were criticizing the game, right? They were criticizing the gameplay, they were criticizing, I don't know, it was overblown and it was over the top, but like they were leaning into that sort of thing on purpose. You know, now it's like, it feels so much more genuine how angry people are and how angry they're trying to encourage their own audiences to be. And just the amount of misinformation out there is insane. Like, you know, I have a couple of friends who work in a retro game shop around here, and even they were saying, oh my god, dude, did you hear, like, Mario Kart World is going to be $90, and it was never going to be $90. But once that got out there, like, everybody kept saying it over and over and over again, and it's like, it's like people heard it so much, and you know, also I think even with the corrected information out there, even though it was so easy to come by, the people who have a financial incentive or an attention incentive to like make people mad and keep people coming back to that, like they had no reason to correct. Like they just kept saying it was $90 anyway, even though they knew better. Because that was going to make people even more mad than $80 was. But yeah, it is important to remember what Rico Lee's saying there, is that the people who make the most noise are not necessarily representative of the majority, especially on the internet and especially nowadays.
3, 2, 1, go!
Like, so much of the vast majority of the time I spend talking about games nowadays is done in much smaller communities than it used to be. Like, you know, I haven't been on Twitter in, like, over a year now. I can only imagine how bad that place has gotten at this point. But just, like, you know, spending time in my Discord community and, you know, sort of talking about games on a smaller scale with, like, people who are regular enough and consistent enough and show up enough that, like, you know who they are and you don't have that, like, veil of anonymity with everybody. I think that helps with in perspective, too. Like, I always know, and also, this has become so freaking important on the modern internet, and I feel like a lot of people don't do it, and I feel like a lot of people don't know how to do it, for that matter. but just like curating your feeds, right? Like being mindful about what sort of things you're letting into your eyeballs. Like, for example, something like TikTok feed, or even, like a Twitter feed. These are really horrible ways, in my opinion, to learn about important world news. Because you're gonna, like, the incentive there, what I was talking about with like, outrage stuff, the incentive there is not to inform in, like, a nuanced or balanced way. The incentive is to make people as mad as possible, as quickly as possible, with whatever it takes. So even if it's something like that is true or is factual, like, it's gonna be framed in the most aggressive, depressing, outraging way possible. And I feel like having that sort of thing streamed into your eyeballs all the time, or being in danger of that sort of thing being streamed into your eyeballs all the time, just isn't a good way to learn about anything. Stay abreast of, like, what's going on in the world. So that's part of it. So, like, I spend a lot of time, curating my feeds, muting certain terms. Again, not because I don't care about these issues, but because the way that I want to stay informed about these issues is, not that. So that sort of thing helps. But, I also feel like to some people, including some people that I know very well, some people in my own family, unfortunately, the idea of having to, like, go through and be, like, have that, the expectation that you would even need to have that kind of agency over, you're scrolling on your time spent scrolling on your phone is just very foreign, because the internet hasn't been like that in quite a long time. The internet hasn't explicitly required you to like look for what you want in a long time. Which sucks, because that was always one of my favorite things about it. First time catching a live, that tank top is tough. I assume that's a good thing. I'm gonna take it as a compliment. And say thank you. Before toxicity was and felt more like the minority, and it still is, but it's so much louder now. I mean, yeah, most modern social media really, really does a lot to amplify it, so it's gonna seem louder. It'd be like if you started talking about Sonic's aesthetic influences because you're getting better at fan art, and then people jumped in with, I prefer when you didn't talk or have those stupid friends. I mean, that was a very common thing, even back in the forum days, to be fair.
Stickers unlocked.
And that's fair, Perfect System DX. I mean, I'm not, like, I guess what I'm saying is there has to be a better balance. And I think it's also important, at least for me, to be mindful of when I am and am not looking for that stuff. Like, if I'm just scrolling on a feed, like, I really... Ooh, did the game lock up? The game locked up! That's hilarious. It is. I did not need to use the slang. I am an NPR baby. Okay, cool. Or rather, more phenomenal. Can I even get out of this? Yeah, no. Complete lockup. That's okay. Hey, it's a blue sky. Very cloudy blue sky, but a blue sky nonetheless. I think I'm going to call it here for the night anyway. Kind of been babbling for the last little bit here, but it's been a good time, and I hope it's been interesting for you guys too. This truly is a tribute to the day one Wii U release. I mean, whatever it's doing now, it's probably still loading faster than the Wii U did at first. Haven't seen... Levi Church says, I think Scott the Laws made a great video on video game prices recently. Haven't seen that one. A blue sky, but this game doesn't have any bounce attacks. I understood that reference. Oh God, yeah, the Mario Kart World versus Cross Worlds thing. That's just it's so it's it seems so juvenile to me at this point, right? It's like what are you guys still doing? How can you still be having this debate at this point? Like they're such different games. Come off of it. Boom Rise of Lyric, Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. I tell this story all the freaking time. When Sonic Boom came out, I was already doing this. I was always already making the geek critique. So I was like, okay, well, I just won't play it right now. And then whenever I get up to that part in the timeline, because I always knew I was going to do all the Sonic games chronologically, when I get to that point in the timeline, then I'll play it. And this was like 2014, and I was like, well, by 2016 I'll probably be there. And then my productions got much, 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 much longer. So that never happened. Not never. It just hasn't yet. That's what I mean to say. Mario versus Sonic in the Big 25, yeah. But yeah, they're going for completely different things, dude. Like it's compare them like one or the other, but the people treat it like it's a sports team, you know? It's very weird to me. A couple of people have been asking about Prime 4. I saw Life as Jalen. Life as Jalen. Okay. Um, I am on a media blackout for Prime 4. I haven't watched the recent trailer. I've muted all the terms. Speaking of mutant terms, staying mindful about what you're looking at. I have been spoiled on a handful of minor things despite that because it's going to happen anyway. But yeah, I know as little as possible about Prime 4 and I don't want to know anything before it comes out. Oh yeah, Pokemon and Digimon at this point. That's so wild. Because yeah, they're completely different things. Anyway, yeah, gonna call it here. Thanks for sticking with me, everybody. Go to bed. Probably. It's 2:30 here. Like my sleep schedule was fucked anyway, but the rest of you probably need to go to bed. Anyway, all right. Keep geeking. I'll keep critiquing. Have a good night, everybody.